All right, welcome back to Relatively Conscious. My name is Thomas Brown.
Irvin Bryant.
Shout out to the DJ for making our beat.
That's at DW Made That on social media.
And follow us on social media.
At Kinda Woke on Instagram and Twitter. Relatively Conscious everywhere else. Like, share, follow, subscribe, and gun control.
Yes, let's talk about it. This is not going to be a very happy episode. Yeah, it's going to be kind of a little bit.
We tried our best.
Yeah,
racked our brains to try to find a way to say, okay, what's the solution? What's the positive spin? What's the takeaway? Because what's the point of criticism if it's not constructive? But what can you construct in America, the country built by the gun?
Nothing, basically. I mean, that it's here to stay. Maybe that's we can guess.
Yeah. So it's foundational. It's just we do guns. We like those.
Yeah, and so let's go and set the stage first. There was the mass shooting in Atlanta of the, I guess, were they sex workers or were they just massage parlors?
Yeah, that the jury's out on that. But that's what the guy, and he's actually, it wasn't for all what I know, it was implied that they were sex workers, but he said it was a source of temptation, racism. Regardless, it was a mass shooting.
Yeah, so a mass shooting in Atlanta, and then there was a mass shooting in Boulder, Colorado, with in a supermarket. And we have no idea of motives, but in times of mass shootings, we talk about gun control legislation, and as you bring it back to the forefront, it's time again for us to have this conversation, I think, about the effectiveness of gun control legislation, because passing such legislation comes with a price. It comes with a, it's not like crazy to say that, but what we saw on June 6th is just a taste of what would be response to any congressional gun control legislation. Am I exaggerating? You
are not, unfortunately. Because June 6th shows when you kind of, which we haven't done in a long time, but nudge American people with the unacceptable. Since the integration, we've kind of been, all our social changes have been unfavorable, but not unacceptable. In integration, people showed their whole behinds, fighting kids and whatnot. They had to call the National Guard in, it was serious. But since then, we haven't had anything where it's like, I can't, It was usually like, I don't prefer this, and it would be left policy, right policy, but people just dealt with it. But then with Trump, he made it unacceptable for him to lose. And then we got the full insurrection, storming of the Capitol. And now if we do guns, this is beyond Trump. This is before Trump. Because Trump did the whole election fraud. That was new. We hadn't done that before. But guns are foundational, like we said. Second Amendment. This goes back before any president, and truly does not matter which president would be in charge. Doesn't matter the rhetoric. If we try to do something that to that degree of, we're going to do something that unacceptable to the right, it will be a fight, like a guns a-blazing, a fight.
Well, because the Schwarzenegger action movie is an American thing. It's
John
what
Rambo.
Yeah, it's what people in Europe know about America. We have muscle cars and we have guns, and our movies are filled with that. Muscle cars, guns, and a lot of sex. But it's basically that, and that's what makes us who we are. And so, cowboys and excuse the term, but Indians, cowboys and Indians, it's what games we play as kids. Even my cousins and I had cap guns. So and being in Texas, I mean, that's, John Oliver made a joke that he gave a 5-year-old gun for his birthday in Texas, but that's not too much of a joke. That's more so a fact,
I was 13.
Yeah, I know people who got. I think a little
Yeah,
girl who got her first gun at 14. It was like a pink rifle, so she can go hunting. It's like,
yeah,
yeah, that's just part of life, and I think it's a serious. It's like a. It's. I understand when liberals and people on the left will say, or the Democrat space will say, these mass shootings are unacceptable. Basically, right? Like I cannot deal with this. 26 first graders died. Well, 24 first graders and two teachers dying at Sandy Hooks. Okay, we just cannot accept that as a thing. And as much as your resolve is to not accept it, that is only like a tiny percent of someone's of like a personal rights resolve not to accept gun control. Like you saw first graders die, and you're like, I cannot deal with this anymore. And people were like, I'm gonna vote, I'm gonna do these other things. But like you don't even understand the resolve that someone who's a gun owner in Texas is like, I double dog dare you to
yeah.
even think about it. Yeah.
And so now we run into dilemmas where you have people. This is unacceptable that people are dying in mass shootings in increasing frequency with little reason to why. And then you have the other people saying, well, it's unacceptable to take away or limit, the Second Amendment. I have to have a gun. I got to get it and don't get in my way. No steps in the way. Do not put anything between me and the gun. I'm going to have it just in case, whatever happens. And so we got a nice little list
Yeah.
of gun control measures of varying severity, varying viability. And this is where the doom and gloom comes, because we're just going to try to do a spot test and see, does this stick? Is America going to go for this?
Yeah.
And not is America going to go for this, like, will people fight about it? Because we already established it would be a knockdown, drag out, bloodshed fight. But would we even get there? Can we even discuss it? Because up to this point, and we've seen the 20th century, before we even got to the 20th century, was it 99 Columbine happened?
Yes. 98, I want to say 98, 99 Columbine happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we kicked off the 21st century with the mass shooting, and nearly nothing has changed about the way we regulate guns in the country.
Yeah. And also, would these measures even stop mass shootings? Because if we're going to have this fight, at least we should have this fight over a solution that can solve the problem. And so, can these solve the problem? Yeah. So, what's first on the list?
Buybacks.
So, like a
this
buyback.
is a simple, gun buyback program. There's a bunch of different versions of it, but essentially, the government, of any size, municipal, county, state, federal, and of course the new solution, because we've had all these mass shootings back to back to back, is federal. We got to do this. Forget the state government, because some states want to do it, some states don't want to do it. The crazy gun nuts can come from anywhere. So federal government, buy back the guns. We take them off the streets, offer double the value, triple the value, and it's a deal you can't refuse, and it's public safety. Well, how could that not work? Giving people money, it's like a stimmy check, but for a gun.
Well, first thing, it's not worth double the value. So, like, I did for Dr. Mitchell's class, I did a poll on this on my Facebook page. It was just filled with veterans and Christians, evangelical Christians in Texas. So a pretty good sample of people who do own guns in Texas, veterans and Christians. And I asked the question of buyback program, how much we have to offer it. So the price of the gun, twice the price, 5 times the price. There isn't a price high enough. I said about between 30 and 50 responses. Most of them was that you cannot offer me enough money. Some people said 5 times the value. And so an assault rifle, so AR-15, I want to say you're going to pay upwards of $1,000 for AR-15. 5 times that value means $5,000 per AR-15. Most people I know who have AR-15 have multiple AR-15s. So if you want to buy back all of them, you're talking, maybe $10,000 per person comes to you with AR-15. But I know some people who have like 5 of those. or more than that. It's ridiculous. They collect them, and so they don't lose their value. It's kind of like a almost like people who buy muscle cars. Like if you want to buy a Corvette, they don't lose their value very much. After so so the same way people have like multiple guns, and you cannot offer them enough money to get rid of them.
Mind blowing Texas perspective on the guns, and a lot of people don't get this. And I don't know, Texas is we are the gun people, but the South, we do guns, so other Southerners might be aware. But if you're from California, if you're from Illinois,
New York,
you don't know.
Yeah,
people will have. I'm talking about neighbors of mine. First off, in my family, I have 3 guns. I own 3 guns.
Yeah,
I'm applying for the Peace Corps. I won't hurt a fly. I mean, I will hurt a fly. I'm a hunter. I hunt. They're for hunting. I have one for personal protection. That I don't carry because I don't have a license to, but eventually, I guess. And I own these, one for recreation, and my grandfather has a locker, right? So a lot of people have lockers.
Yeah.
And it's for hunting and for personal protection because everybody got a gun. And my neighbors have lockers of guns, like especially in the country. I'm talking about 15, a collection. And all different types. So I got my 9mm. I got my 9mm rifle. I got my AR. I got an M16. I got my hunting rifle with the scope. I got my hunting rifle with the red dot. I got my Ruger. I got the Glock. I got the Glock. Then I got something special. I got to gold plate it. Then I get the pink one for my wife. And I gotta go on and on. And it's a collection.
Yeah.
Like you said, but it's a collection that has a deeper value because I have a record collection. The room I'm in, it's just records all over the place. But I can get rid of them because it's just music. If you cars, you trade the cars. You buy one new one, sell a new one. You want different experiences. The guns stay because this is a symbol, one of my national identity, 2 of protection for my life, and they don't lose value at all, like for nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as it works, pow, you're straight.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand that until I became a gunner myself. It's astounding. Cars too old, I don't want it.
Yeah.
Or if it's in a certain pocket of age, right? So if it's like a decade old, it's like, that's last season, last trend. I don't want it. Certain records, it's not rare. I do not care about it. All the guns.
Yeah.
All the guns are expensive. They all have value. And so a buyback, I can get great money for it any time of the day. I don't need you.
Yes.
This is protecting my life. This is me as an American. I'm not going to give it to you. And the last thing is, you don't know I got it. So I can sell you like 2 of them. Still got 10 in the back. What's the big deal?
Also, and the last thing about them not losing value is like the gun show economy, I guess you say, like, people go to gun shows and they trade guns and buy guns. Those things are like it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Like the gun show in Houston at Georgia Brown Convention Center is 3 days. It's thousands of people going there, buying and selling guns. And, it's just people who have a collection, some other people who have collections, and they're just buying them. I know people find it to be weird, but like is normal to everybody else.
It's not weird.
Yeah.
It's not weird. That's the crazy part. That's the culture. And just for perspective, George R. Brown Convention Center, this is the biggest venue in Houston. Yes. This is Houston. It's the biggest venue in Houston, Texas sized. Comic-Con is held there.
Yes.
Our Comic-Con. There's multiple.
Yeah.
This is a Comic-Con sized event, okay? Except it's no comic books. It's no costumes. No nerds. It's all guns.
Just tables.
Everybody in there armed to the teeth.
Yeah, tables full of them. And also, Texas is an open carry state. You can just walk around, see somebody with something on their hip, So
on their hip, in their hand.
And so that's why the buyback program, you can't pay people enough to get rid of something that's a cultural icon. It'd be like, can I pay Negroes enough? Can I pay niggas enough money to get rid of their Jordans? No, you can't. You can't pay me the money to get rid of my Jordan.
A Jordan buyback program.
Yeah, and you did a Jordan. You did a Jordan buyback
Yeah,
program.
if Jordans could save your life,
Yeah. I mean, I'm not supposed to give
or
you my
take a life or protect a life.
I'm not supposed to give you my Bugs Bunnies. I'm not supposed to give you my Fresh Prince. You're not supposed to take these from me. My Concord.
These are Space Jams from '96. You're not gonna get these off me.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
reason why Jordans are the best way to talk about it is because we know people who just have boxes of Jordans in their house, right? And there's most people who are probably on the anti-gun scope are probably those who know people who have boxes of Jordans. And like the Jordan fad, like people buying Jordans and going online and trying to buy them fast enough, and the fact that Jordan can release the same colorway every 3 years and people are going to still buy it. That is how the AR-15 is. I mean, the AR-15
yes.
hasn't changed very much. It's the same gun, but like people will still buy it and do the same thing.
And when the pandemic broke out and Academy's shelves were cleaned, Academy
Yeah.
Sports and Outdoors, where you can find hunting gear, not a gun in sight, not a bullet in sight. I'm talking about we had to ride around to a few different places, spring gun and ammo. It just had a couple hidden away, and it was like we could slide you like one box. I'm like, what? What?
Yeah.
Who's doing what? And that's part of the thing. It's an arms race. Well, everybody didn't bought bullets, so I guess I need some bullets because somebody's gonna be shooting somebody. It's not gonna be me. And then we got the gun show. So they said, "Oh, okay." Tony brings up the gun show. Pow! Close the gun show loophole so that the gun is like a prescription medicine because you cannot. Most things you can just trade, right? Like if I have a record, I can just sell and buy sneakers, cars. Cars, you got to do the title thing, I guess. So less so. But you can just move them around, right? Not a big deal. But for prescription drugs, it's straight up illegal. You cannot like go handing them off to people.
Yes.
Right. You can borrow my car at least. Like you don't have to purchase it, but you can borrow it. It's a liability, like insurance and stuff, but you can still do it. But with the guns, they're like, and there is a liability insurance component, but straight up, no, you can't give it to nobody. Do not let nobody touch your gun. That's a crime. All guns have a serial number. We're going to register that serial number to you, Antonius Brown. And if I see Irvin Bryant with that gun, you're going to jail.
Yeah, that's, never going to happen.
It's multi-tier. It's a complex plan.
It's never, the first thing you say was registry. Because put it this way, we should have a gun registry for like crimes. Because like people will go to somebody's house, steal a gun, and then go shoot somebody with it, right? And so that is a problem, and that we have for our registry. We should have a registry, right? We have paper records. It's like when you want to look up a gun for with the FBI, you got to send in a serial number. They have to go and find the paper record and figure out who bought that gun. Because there is somewhat of a registry when you do a background check for a gun, and they have it on file with the FBI. So there is somewhat of a registry out there, but it's all paper. None is on computers. It's against the law for them to put on computers. Actually, it's against the law for them to do that. Yep. So if there's a fire, it's over. They're not gonna find it anymore, right? And if it's not enough issues for us to do it for for crime, and this is the mass incarceration country, if we're not willing to do it, if we're not willing to create a registry to put niggas in jail, imagine how much we're not willing to do a registry to stop mass shootings.
It's funny though, because we have we register a lot of things.
Yes.
Your house, your car, your kids, immunizations. You're registered up.
Yeah.
The government knows who you are, where you are, what you do at all times. But we can't for the gun.
No.
It's a death stick. That's why I like to describe them as it's a death stick for people who be like, some people be like, it's not that big a deal. And it's like, yo, you point it at people and they die. That's insane.
Yes. That's true. But like most gun actors know that is if you're going to do anything, that's like the first step you would have to do. And that's the hill they're going to die on. So, it's also the gun show lobby. They have more money than you do. So I don't know, whatever concerned citizen you are, they have more money than you do. They got more money than Bill Gates do, probably.
And so if we can't register, then we can't do liability insurance.
Also, liability insurance is it's very interesting because I don't see liability insurance being like a detriment. Because like if I'm gonna shoot up a classroom of first graders, I'm gonna just get the insurance. Like if I need insurance to go commit a mass shooting, I'm just gonna get I hate to laugh but it's like it's so ridiculous.
That's not it sounds ridiculous.
Yeah. But
it's like
true.
Like wait, what? Like ain't nothing funny about a mass shooting, but like, wait, you're insured.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna go be insured, Or if I'm gonna do what Homeboy did at Las Vegas. He had money.
Yeah.
Just bought all those guns. He just went insane. Something snapped in his brain and we don't know what happened, right? He had money. He was just a regular white dude. He can get insurance. I'm gonna pay the insurance on this. I'm gonna still go kill all those people in Las Vegas. Like, I don't see how insurance.
And a huge problem with mass shooters is a lot of them kill themselves.
Yeah, or they plan to die by the police. So
yeah, death by police. Either way, I'm not. What consequence with the liability insurance? I'm not worried about the consequence.
And I guess most people's thought process that if you make them get insurance, then the insurance company is gonna like have to pay people who were killed by that person. But I mean, I don't see insurance companies doing that. Insurance companies won't pay your cancer treatments. They will look your grandma in the face.
I was about to say
they would say, "Dang, you got cancer." I ain't got it, bro. Basically, and so
I'm gonna pray for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna pray for you, thoughts and prayers. But like for real, you can have ovarian cancer and just be like, I don't know, man. What were you doing? Maybe you stop eating red meat.
Obviously, capitalism can't solve this for us. Liability insurance won't do it.
Yeah.
Okay, boom. I tried it your way. It's time to get authoritarian. Ban them. Ban assault weapons. Pow. They're just not allowed. So you can't manufacture. You can't have one. What do you say to that? Because if, okay, we tried this way, that way, close the loophole, registration. I'm trying to work with you. But since you want to be immovable, I'm cutting you off. You can't even own one.
Constitution says, well, according to the Supreme Court, Constitution gives you the right to own a weapon, a gun, a rifle, or assault. Can we do assault weapon aside real quick? Can we just do that aside real quick?
That's what I was baiting you. I was
fishing. Okay, so one, assault weapons aren't a thing. So please stop saying that. But just stop saying that. Call it what it is. AR-15 is a semi-automatic weapon. We don't have automatic weapons. Those are the normal citizen cannot have an automatic weapon because we've made laws against that basically. Even in the Army, we don't have automatic weapons. I mean, fully automatic weapons. Our weapons are semi-automatic, and you can do a 3-round burst, which is like the closest you can get to automatic. The reason we stopped doing that is because in Vietnam, when the trees start speaking Vietnamese, dudes will go through the entire magazine in like 2 seconds. Because I'm scared, and now you don't have any ammo left, and
they got you.
Yeah, they got you basically. So. Mass shootings actually may be shorter if you had a fully automatic weapon because you would just go through it real quick. But that's one thing. But secondly, conservatives have spent 50 years almost grooming judges to have the legal opinion that the Second Amendment gives you the right to gun ownership, and that's like basically since that precedent was set. That's just what it is, right? And so you would have to basically, hope that somebody, some conservative dies and replace them in the courts, which probably not. Thomas is still kicking, and Kavanaugh is in his 30s, 40s maybe. And Coney Barrett's in her 40s, right? Amy Coney Barrett, she's in her 40s too, isn't she?
Yeah, they're young. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere. So like, it's highly doubtful that you're going to get within the next 20 or 30 years anybody in the Supreme Court to believe that The Second Amendment doesn't give you the right to own a gun. So that's out the window. You can't ban assault weapons if I have the right to have a gun given to me by the Constitution. You can try to rewrite the
Now,
Constitution.
to be clear,
Yeah.
let's let's be clear. This is not the NRA you're talking about.
No, it's on a federal society. I mean, basically, any most Republican schools, like even UT, was grooming people to do this same thing. It's like this has been a long-standing grooming process,
And it moves further than basically anybody you're familiar with.
Yes.
So unless you're on the inside of conservative politics, this is the real money. This is the old money, or it's the deep far right.
Yeah.
So yeah, Fox News ain't even touching this. I mean, they'll cover it, but they don't have no bearing on this. This is serious constitutional law, and or crazy hillbilly nonsense like the no compromise movement.
Yeah,
it's wild that it's that deep of an issue to where you get the upper crust and the bottom as well.
Yeah, it's like something like even it goes further back than Reagan in politics. It's like when Reagan introduced gun control in California, he had some problems doing that because they're like, no. I don't like Negroes carrying guns either. I don't like the Panthers walking around.
That's scary.
With them guns. It is scary. But the Second Amendment does give the right to own a gun. But
now here's the trip.
Yeah, if you have a felony though, I can see that right away. So just throw them on in jail.
Here's the wild part, and this is the darkest one, I think.
Yeah.
Go ahead and break down to us we already know it's futile because assault weapons is not a real classification.
Yeah.
We already know it doesn't work because the Second Amendment allows you to have, according to the popular conservative interpretation, any weapon, right? That a person can wield. Our army doesn't use fully automatic. We all understand that. But let's talk to the mechanics of an assault, right? Yeah. Wherein, like, what's the difference for if I know how to use a rifle of any kind, but especially an AR-15, how effective can I be even if you've taken away, or I guess I don't have an AR-15. If I have a gun, any gun, pick one.
If you have,
how effective can I be without having this, mythologized? Because the AR-15 is the popular gun for a mass shooting. But if I don't have that, if that's banned, regardless of viability, will that solve the problem?
No, because you could do just as much damage with a Glock 19. 50-round magazine, one in the chamber is at 16. You can probably carry 2 in each pocket. So what's that? 60 rounds on you. That's enough damage. You can do it right there. Well, 16 rounds plus the 16 you have in the gun itself. And unlike the Army, you don't have to pick up your magazines. So you can just drop them when it's time to go. And it's very easy to count rounds. I don't know people, and you ever watch a movie, if you ever watch a movie and try to count the rounds, that's pretty easy. So you just shoot and move. If you had a 6-shot pump action shotgun, that is actually not that hard to go do some action damage with that. And you can probably do more damage with that because it's got a bigger spread. And so,
right.
Yeah. When you talk about school shootings, like will Homeboy be able to do what he did in Las Vegas with the pistol? Probably not, because he was elevated in a roof, right? So maybe with a what's called a hunting rifle, he could have done that, and he wouldn't be able to kill as many people, injure as many people because he was so far up. So that was one of those assaults. One of those mass shootings. You kind of needed an assault, a semi-automatic weapon to do that, right? But that's the scale of that was just huge, right? But if you want to go into a classroom and kill a classroom of first graders, you just need a pistol in time, and not much time at all, basically. If you want to, having a post nightclub, you just need like maybe a pump action shotgun and a pistol. You can do the same thing, block the exits, and then nightclubs are packed with people. I went to Grooves on a night that Grooves is like packed with a bunch of people. It's a nightclub here in Houston. It's actually kind of small, but stay packed. It wouldn't take me very long to get to 30 people very quickly. With any type of aim, I don't have to really like aim that hard. And this something people who grew up in the hood should know. Like people get to shooting and a 5-year-old dies because it's a stray bullet basically on a block. Um, there's rap lyrics about that. She got shot up on the block, by a stray bullet
Yeah.
basically. Um, so yeah, the whole assault weapons ban is not going to solve your problem. And let's say we fought the fight with the conservatives and we won and we passed it. And we're like, we figured it out. When the next mass shooting happens after that, I mean, people are going to just feel deflated because they're not going to know what went wrong here,
Yeah.
because we
We've
don't
already
have,
banned the assault weapon, and y'all still shooting people.
yeah, so we don't have these candid conversations where like, this is not like the dude in the Dark Knight Rises shooting, right? Um,
In Colorado.
Colorado, yeah, he put in I think he used smoke, right? He used smoke to conceal himself and just kind of moved through and started shooting people, right? There are people in that theater who were packing, but once you put smoke inside there, disoriented people. And there's only maybe 4 exits in the theater, 2 on the sides, 2 in the front.
Right.
He's coming from the front, so you have to go out one of the sides. People start falling over each other, and falling down, being scared, and freaking out. It becomes a torture chamber. Because you're stuck there basically. One person falls, people are stuck there, and it becomes what's it called shooting fish in a barrel, as they say, as a country saying. But yeah, and that's one of my main problems is that like the mass shooting is a very American problem. It's a very American phenomenon, right? But just the nature of our country, this is what we have to deal with when we're going to what we do. I don't know how to solve it, but I know this is not the road to go down.
So basically, unless we change our DNA, our identity, I mean, I don't want to say we've changed to being not racist. That's not true. We've changed, slavery, which was in the DNA.
As a Candace Owens says,
you said what?
Candace Owens says otherwise.
Oh, yes, it's true. Contrary to many who believe that the story of America is a story of America defeating racists, I believe that very much in our DNA, we're trying to change that, trying to cleanse that from who we are, because it's been here from day one, and Asian grandmas are still getting stomped out. So I would submit that it hasn't changed.
So here's what I want to say towards the end of it, right? So yeah, we have changed, and I think your best bet is a cultural shift, right? So we have used TV and music to like culturally shift the way we think about gay people, interracial marriage, a bunch of different things, right? And so, could you make the next generation of Americans not cool with guns? Probably. You probably could make enough films, make enough movies, make enough Saturday night specials, Saturday morning specials to make it to where it's just culturally unacceptable to own a gun. That is your best bet. Like legislation is not the answer here. And when I look towards anything, I wouldn't look towards the civil rights movement, I would look towards the gay rights movement. Because the civil rights movement, you just couldn't convince people through TV and movies that like Negroes deserve the right to vote. But you had to go through legislation. But gay people, before they got the right to vote, they did, use Hollywood as a platform.
Before gay people got the right to get married.
Sorry, not right to vote. Yeah, I'm sorry. The right to get married. Before gay people got the right to get married, they did use Hollywood in television to convince people that, leave us alone. We are just as normal as you are. It took a long time. It took a lot of people sticking their necks out there and betting on their careers. Denzel Washington does a movie, Philadelphia, with Tom Hanks about a lawyer defending a guy who gets fired because he has AIDS, right? I know people now hate that movie because it's filled in 90s sappy color blindness, but at the time it was a groundbreaking film. People were like, oh, Tom Hanks plays a gay person. They have feelings, maybe maybe I should have thrown my gay son out on the street, you know? So basically, it took a lot of time to do that. Maybe you could do the same thing. Though I will give a warning. The way 13 Reasons Why does it is not the way to do it. Do not give me two.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. The way they do it is just, even I, a person who believes that gun control is something we should try to do, I hate watching 13 Reasons Why school shooting episodes.
It's horrible.
Yeah, I'm just like,
homosexual relationships, trans people's lives, integrated interracial racial relationships, integrated society are things that America stands against, but racism and prejudice aren't uniquely American. Is the trip. Because like you said at the onset, at the very beginning, you said, the French know. If you know anything about American movies, it's going to be some breasts, it's going to be some guns, some explosions, some cussing, somebody's going to die. I mean, we like those movies. It's a fun movie. I like Tarantino. I'm not going to act, Stallone made some cool movies.
Fast and Furious.
The problem is, it's a good time. John Wick is cool.
Yeah.
What's it called? Guy Ritchie got a new one coming out with Jason Statham. I don't even know when it comes out. I'm already there. Jason Statham is cool.
Yeah.
It's attractive. It's not like, we did have hateful stuff in the movies and it was attractive and it was fun. But how do you make, like, violence is like in hip hop. Like, we do that. We do the violence.
Yes.
Imagined violence is different from real violence, but how can you make imagined violence curb to be unacceptable? Because we've made, all the racist symbolisms and the blackface and the mocking Asian people and mocking gay people in media. We're done with that. At least you're gonna get roasted. You're gonna get dragged, right? If you do it.
Mm-hmm.
But to change the gun, we thoroughly enjoyed blackface. America thoroughly enjoyed blackface unabashedly 100 years ago when they were playing in the White House.
Yes.
But we're playing gun violence in the White House today.
Yeah.
So, to the point that we get, generations is the point where we get to say, you know what? My kids just told me that guns ain't cool no more. Like, and do I know people who are like, you should not own a gun? They don't, a bunch of liberals that I know. No, you should not own a gun. Nobody should own a gun. They're too dangerous. Da, 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 da. Of course. I know those people. But for it to actually have an effect on the presence of guns when we're the most well-armed civilian population on the planet, it's going to take a minute.
Yeah. To do an object lesson real quick. All the records above me, because I have just a pretty...
Oh, your records.
Yeah.
My records surround me and yours are on the shelf. Yeah.
Just real quick, just to show you. This is all like hip hop from the 90s.
Yes.
Slim Shady LP. Just he kills his wife. And it's one of his most famous songs. This is Jay-Z. He stabbed his brother. He's from the Marcy Projects. It is just about gun violence. Even Outkast, who's supposed to be, a little less. It's not Bombs on a Bad Day. It's on this, isn't it?
That is not a fight. Don't do that to them. They're not violent. But I feel like there's a gun here or there. I really don't think they'd be doing that though. That's crazy. I never thought about it. They don't be shooting people.
I don't know. None of Eminem, Marshall Mathers LP.
More violence.
More violence, right? The Fugees. Come on now. You really. I'm gonna need you to stop. You're picking up a lot of conscious records right now, and there's not. I don't think there's any gun violence on the Fugees. The Fugees, of course, they don't want to be. They're like, I don't want to have to do this, but and it's The Beast. The Watch the Beast is another song I hear about that too.
It's anti-cop.
It's anti-cop, but it's like I'm gonna still pick up a gun and shoot a cop. Nas, the first song on this, Illmatic, is the New York State of Mind. Where
shooting up the lobby.
You shoot up the lobby. Those kids there, as high as I be,
Yeah, they probably couldn't see as high as I be. Yeah.
Now Tribe Called Quest, a little less. Yeah. And then of course, new one is Mad City. which is about Kendrick Lamar growing up in Compton, which is just, it's Compton. I don't even have to go tell you about Compton. And that's just, a couple records right there. I still got more up there that's just as crazy. So, and that's cool. That's rap music, which is filled with that. But like, that's music by people who have seen gun violence up close in person and have dealt with it, the people die. I think each one of these people have made a song about someone dying at the hands of gun violence. Most of them have. But it's still something we still do and we still glorify. So I don't know how you make a generation where my daughter grows up and gun violence is not something, guns are not something that they still glorify. But anyway, depressing, but we gotta talk about it. My name is Tony Brown.
Irvin Bryant.
Peace.